Okay, boys and girls, we've been talking so much in science about the environment and about oceans and how oceans are such an important resource for us, and they're also an important habitat for lots of different animals. And we've been talking about how we have an important role to play in that. And our book that we read yesterday, Atlantic by Brian Karras, was such a powerful book. And I would love for you to turn and talk in just a second and talk about what made this book so powerful, and what did we notice, and what was he trying to tell us about the ocean? Okay, turn and talk real quick.
To keep the ocean safe and don't waste stuff. To make sure you don't waste nothing in the ocean. To make sure you don't, like to keep the ocean clean and stuff like that. And also about the ocean.
So let's share out real quick. What did we notice about Mr. Karras's book, and what was his message? What was important about it, Elena?
It was important because it's part of our world, and we need to take care of it.
Good. I'm so glad you brought that up. Is anybody else thinking that too? That was one of the things that we read about and that we've been learning about? Ashley, add to that.
At the end, that he wrote something about the ocean, and the ocean was talking. For the readers, think it isn't that boring.
So you were thinking about this part, right?
Yeah. And for the readers can read it, and they don't think it's that boring.
Okay, that's right. And you brought up that it was told from the ocean's perspective, which was such a cool thing that the author did to help us. How did it help us again? How did it help? Sergio, talk to me about that.
How to take care of the ocean, don't throw stuff away.
That's right.
In the ocean.
And how did it help us that it was told in the perspective, that the ocean was telling you all these things? How did that help us understand the power of that message? Why was that important? Why did the author choose that?
Because sea animals live in the ocean.
They do. Okay, who else can kind of unpack that for us? Arella, why was that so important?
Well, because the ocean is alive too, and you should be respected. You want to be respected, and you should respect the ocean too.
I'm glad that you talked about how it's kind of alive. Remember how he talked about all of these things? It was rubbing shoulders with continents, and he described the ocean as raging and having fingers and all kinds of things that were human qualities. He was telling it like it was alive, okay? Like it was this thing that we knew. And the ocean was telling us this story, and that made us feel more connected to the ocean. So then at the end, when the author wrote about protect me, right? Protect me, take care of me, respect me, okay? That helped us to be more empathetic. So we noticed so many great things that Brian Karras did as an author and as an illustrator. Okay, so I want us to be thinking about those things as we continue on, and I was thinking it would be really cool if we wrote to Brian Karras to thank him for his lovely book that we enjoyed so much. Thumbs up if that's something that you would like to do. Okay, all right. I think that would be really cool. And I was looking on his website, and he wrote a little message on there. He put his email address on, and he said, please contact me at this email address. I try to answer all of my emails. Please have patience, and I will write you back. Please write to me. You think you guys would be up for that?
Yep.
Could we write him an email?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I have a really important email that I want to write, there's something that I do as a writer, and it's something that we always do as writers. What do you think I do first? I grab my pen. What do I do, Sergio?
Draft it.
I draft it. That's exactly right. So that's what we're going to do together. So if we were going to write a letter to Mr. Karras, what would we want to say to him? Would you turn and talk real quick? And you want to list off the things you would like to say to him if you were going to write a letter.
I would say thank you for your book Atlantic.
I like this book.
I would say Thank you for your book. It was very unique and interesting.
What did you guys talk about would be a good first sentence? Sergio, what did you and Ruben say?
I like your book, and I liked how you use personification.
Ooh, okay, so that you liked his book, and well, if he doesn't know us, if we're going to tell him that we like his book, he might have other books that he's written. In fact, I know that he's written other books. Should we name the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to be specific about which book that we just read. Good, and I loved that you brought up personification because we thought that was really important to his message, didn't we? Okay, good, thanks.
We just read your book, Atlantic, and we just want to say thank you for writing the book.
Okay. We just read your book, Atlantic, and we just want to say thank you for writing your book. Okay? Let's hold on to that.
Oh, well, how about he doesn't know personification?
Do you think he knows about personification?
Yeah, that's why he put it there.
So that was something he was using as a writer. He was using that, and Gio, as a writer, you can use that too. Okay.
Thank you for your book, Atlantic, because it was very unique and interesting.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have a couple different choices here about how we can start out. Okay, so dear Mr. Carras, thank you for your book, Atlantic. It was very unique and interesting. Okay? Or we could say, Ashley, share yours.
We just read your book, Atlantic, and we just want to say thank you for writing the book.
Okay. So what I think we can do is take both of those sentences and put them together in a great opening sentence. Okay? So we just read your book, Atlantic. And what do we do with the book title? Underline it. We just read your book, comma, right, we pause, Atlantic, and we want to thank you for writing such a unique and interesting. Clap it out with me. Interesting. I can handle this. I can chunk that. Squeeze it in. We always go back as writers and figure out what we're missing. We just read your book, Atlantic, and we want to thank you for writing such a unique and interesting book. Am I done? What do I need?
Period.
Right. This is a statement. Period. Good. Okay. So we've got that first line done. What next? What else do we want to tell him? What are some more thoughts that you have? Ashley, what do you think?
Maybe we can tell them what the parts that we liked that he did.
Ooh, yes. So we could tell him about the different parts that we liked. And Sergio already brought up how we loved the personification. What are some other things, some other parts that you guys really enjoyed in his book? Ruben, what was something else?
I liked how he used, like, when he made the page about the fisher, like where they go fishing in there. I like how he used the light blue.
So is this the page that you were thinking about? Tell me about this page. What did you like that the author did?
Like how he used a lighter blue to like make all the things that were in the ocean.
So he's showing you that the ocean is alive right there with all kinds of things, all kinds of creatures. I love that. Yeah, that's an amazing detail that he added. What other parts, what other things did the author do that we really enjoyed so much? We want to tell him and thank him. Sage, is there anything that you liked?
I like that part because...
This part?
I like that part because it had all the words that are kind of... It's kind of like a collage almost, combining
Just
the
like a
artist
collage.
and the poet. And you could read the words if you wanted to.
Right. Does that make you want to read the book more and more? Makes it really interesting. And it goes with his words. He's talking about how artists paint pictures of me, the ocean, and poets know me with their beautiful words. Because the ocean inspires so many people. right? So he's bringing that to life here too. Well done, Arella.
I like the part when he doesn't make the words straight and they're like.
I liked that too. So we talked about how that was a choice that he made. Let me get to it right here. Why did he do that? Why would the author choose to do that when he's writing a book about the ocean?
Maybe like how the ocean always turns and it's always swirly.
It's always moving and it ebbs and floods. Yeah, I loved that too. And the arrows. Do the arrows remind you of anything? You guys thinking about the water cycle a little bit when you see that?
Yeah.
How the ocean's so important to us for that reason. We've talked a little bit about that before. We're going to talk more about that too. Okay. Really cool. What about, I know a lot of us talked in our discussion about the last page. Some things about me. Thumbs up if you thought this was important and you really enjoyed this. Did we understand his message that he was giving to us?
Yes.
Sorry, what did we understand about his message?
We understand that it was trying to get
What was his message about the ocean?
it
That was
was
so important in that part. What should we do? Elena, what should we do for the ocean?
We should like not trash it and take care of it.
We should take care of it. Okay, so we want to make sure that Mr. Cross understands that we're thankful for his book, that we understood the message, and that we loved all the different choices that he made with his words and his illustrations to help us as readers love the book. Okay, so how can we say that? What's next? We just read your book, and we want to thank you for writing a unique and interesting book. And now we want to talk about the different parts. Okay? How could we say that? There were many different, what? Sergio?
Unique parts of the story.
Okay, so we've used the word unique. So there were many different or many unique parts of your story. What could we say? Ruben, what could we say?
There were many different parts where you use personification.
Okay, so we want to bring that up. Okay, good. So we want to talk about that. What else?
or you could do there were many different kinds of things that we loved. For example, we loved at the end when you talked about the ocean and the ocean was talking and you said about that we need to take care of ocean.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so we want to do, as writers, we're thinking all of these things and we want to put it all together. So we want to say what Sergio said, there were many parts of your book that we loved that were unique and interesting. And we also want to say, for example, and name those things, right? Because we're thanking him for all the things that he did. So, there were many, what can I say instead of unique? There were many, what kind of parts? Instead of unique again, is there another word I could use here that would work? Michael, what do you think?
Powerful.
Powerful. Thumbs up if you agree that we should use powerful. That was a word that came up in our discussion a lot. Thank you, Michael, when we were talking about Atlantic. It was a really powerful story. So there were many powerful, remember our suffix full of power. Powerful parts of your book that we loved, right? That's what keeps coming up. Okay, and then Ashley brought up, for example, okay? And this is where we can talk about all of those things. For example, what do I need? What have we done as writers before? What do I need right here? For example, tell your partner really quick what I need to add.
Like the two people land on top of each other.
Remember we read about oval? You're asking, for example, not the colon, not the colon this time.
Respect the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, back to me. Show me with your finger what I need to add. Hey, everybody, what do I need to add? Comma. For example. Okay, now, as writers, we need to figure out how are we going to tell Mr. Karras the different parts that we love that were so powerful. How can I say this? What do you think? Michael, what do you think?
We liked how you used a lot of powerful words that made the ocean like a human being.
A human being part. Good. Exactly. That's exactly what we want to say, because that's what stands out to us the most. So we want to tell him that was really important. It was a very powerful part. So, for example, here we go. For example, when do you think we could say personified? Since we're all familiar with that, do you think that we could say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he understands that. When you personified the ocean, I'm going to do a pause here. Show me with your finger what I need. For example, when you personified the ocean, comma, what did that do for us as readers? When you personified the ocean, Arella, what do you think? What would you write?
Maybe you could write that it made me go deeper into the book.
Okay, so I like that phrase. It made me something. It made you go deeper into the book. With what? In your thinking?
In my listening or reading.
Okay, so it made you more interested? Okay, good. I love that. What would you write, Sage?
It made me become more interested in the book.
Okay, good. So you both are thinking the same thing, so we can put that together. So, for example, when you personified the ocean, it made me. Oh, it made me. But who is this letter from? Who is it from? Us. So, I am going to fix that really quick. And what do I want to write?
Us.
It made us. Okay. And we were talking about how it made us more interested and think deeper. It made us think more deeply. And when we were interested, did you want to keep reading? Okay. It made us think more deeply and what?
And it made us want to read more.
It made us want to read more. It made us think more deeply and want to read more. What do I need? Period. Okay, so we discussed a lot yesterday about that personification of the ocean that the author used and how important that was. So not only did it make us think more deeply and make us want to read more, but how else did it help us? How else did it help us? Here.
It helped us to be more interested.
More interested. What else about the ocean? What was that big message?
And think more about the ocean and think about how we can take care of it.
How we can take care of it. Okay, good. Okay, so the ocean felt like something that was talking to us. It said, please save me. Please take care of me. He did that on purpose so that it would make us feel more compelled to do our part, right? So we want to make sure that he knows that we understand that message so we can add to this to tell him more. Okay, it made us think more deeply and want to read more. We want to add something. What's a transition word I could put in here? to add something else to that thought. What could I put in?
Also.
Also. 2 snaps for Ruben.
Oh, yeah.
Also. And then what do I need, Ruben?
Comma.
That's right. Good. Also, it made us what? What did we just say? Care. Am I okay here? Made us care more about what do we need to do?
Ocean.
About the ocean.
What about the ocean? About helping?
The environment.
Okay, good. Also, it made us care more about doing our part
In the environment.
to protect
And save.
the ocean. Okay, so when we talk about doing our part to protect the ocean, we're talking about how the ocean is there, it's always there, and it's really up to us how it might change or not change, right? So we have a really important part to protect it, to keep it clean, to make it a nice place for creatures to live, and to preserve it, right? What we do has a big impact, a big effect on the ocean, right? And what it's like. All right, so let's practice reading it to make sure that it has all the parts that we want in it, okay?
Dear Mr. Karras, we just read your book, Atlantic, and we want to thank you for writing such a unique and interesting book. There were many powerful parts of your book that we loved. For example, when you personified the ocean, it made us think more deeply and want to read more. Also, it made us care more about doing our part to protect the ocean. Okay, and we can write sincerely, because we don't really know him, right? Sincerely, Miss V's class, right? Okay, good job. So, guys, when you're writing, okay, remember all these things that we just talked about today. We talked about the suffix full, okay, in powerful that you can add, F-U-L, and we talked about transition words, for example, and what was the other one that Ruben brought up? Also. When you're writing, you can do these same things to make a really solid message and to write well. If you're writing a letter or an email. So guys, I'm going to type this up and I'll even let you see it, and we will send it to Brian Karras so he can read it and he can hear about how much we loved his book and how much we understood his message, and we just enjoyed reading it so much. So good job. Thanks so much for helping me write that today.